Is VR dead? Man, hell no, VR not dead. I guess if you hear the clickbait work. But honestly, I want to kind of flip this question around because every few months on VR, YouTube, when things are kind of in a lull, we hear, oh, is VR dead? But where do we go get the content from? I don't think it's a question of is VR dead? I think it's a question of can VR be better? And now that I think is a hell yes. Definitely VR can be better. But is VR dead? No. VR is not dead, man. VR is honestly better than it's ever been. It progresses every year. And more people buying headsets, more people buying games. It's doing a lot better than it has done in a while. It's been a great year for VR. There's been a lot of games, a lot of new headsets that come out. There's some good stuff going on. But let's talk about how VR can be better. Because now I'm not mad at anybody who thinks VR is down because there are a lot of signs, I'm not gonna lie. Like the Quest Pro being discontinued, the Quest Pro dropping in price, some games being canceled like Echo Combat, and just a lot of different things like that. But I think there are a few things that can actually bring a lot more light to VR. And I think we should talk about it, so let's get into it. Before we get into the main topic today, we do have a sponsor, and that is VR Rock. So if you use code MartydudeVR at checkout, you can get 10% off them things, man. 10% off the prescription lenses from VR Rock. So definitely use that code. I'm just happy I got a code. Let me do my little dance sometime. But check out that code, man. Get you 10% off. Stop playing. Get you some VR Rock prescription lenses for the PSVR2, Quest, any other headset you have. So check that out. All right, so our first point on making VR better is marketing. Okay, marketing is one of the biggest things that I think is a total failure from VR. Now, you wonder, you see a lot of Quest ads and stuff like that. You see a lot of PlayStation ads and stuff like that. And you're like, that's a lot of marketing. No, it is not. The only reason I say that is because to the casual audience, I talk to a lot of my friends who do not have VR headsets. The most recent VR game that they think has been announced is RE4 for the PSVR2.
Hell no, man.
That was announced. There's been a lot of game announcements since then. And that's the thing when you're dealing with a space that's so niche, and then you have all these indie developers who, have to kind of market their games on their own, and they're not obviously not experts at making AAA game trailers or even have the type of editors or the capabilities to make such a thing. But at the same time, you got to make it work. So there are VR trailers we've seen that have looked amazing, right? There's been some that look decent. There's some that look terrible. Let's be honest. But that has to be a focus from now on with VR. There's even a lot of Quest games on like Apple Lab and just general Quest store that nobody knows about because they don't market them. Like, come on. like they don't market the games. Like, there's a lot of devs putting in time because VR dev is magic. Let's get that to the forefront of this conversation. VR game dev is magic. And so, obviously, when people make this magic, they want their games to be marketed. So I think there has to be a bigger marketing push from Meta, from Steam, from PlayStation to get these games out here. There's been so many games dropped for PSVR 2 that like nobody's ever heard of. Like Pixel Rip drop. That game is phenomenal. Why was that not like on the front page of PlayStation Store? It's like things like that. It just doesn't make any sense. So in terms of VR marketing, VR has to do better when it comes to marketing. There's a lot of mixed reality apps that nobody talks about, like Figment. Figment is like one of the coolest productivity apps for mixed reality that I probably ever used. And I just heard about it recently, in the last few months, because I got last few weeks, let's be honest, last few weeks. And it's an app where you can do you can look at 3D models, you can do a bunch of different cool stuff, you watch 2 videos. It's cool, it's a cool app, but people don't know about it because mixed reality, there's VR and then there's MR. MR is a lot more niche than VR is, in my opinion. Nothing people might think differently. That's how I feel about it. But, and even then the Apple Pro headset. So the Apple headset that came out, it's not even come out, it got announced a few months ago. That was like one of the biggest pieces of news this year for a VR headset, and that was like, oh, this expensive headset came out. People were like, oh my God, look how expensive VR is. And now we're like, VR isn't expensive, just get a Quest, or a Pico or whatever you want to get, or anything else. It's not like $3,000. But it's things like that that's like terrible marketing for VR. Like if I was Quest, I'd have been like, yo, you can get this $299 headset, that price we just dropped because Quest 3 coming out soon. You know, or this $1,000 Quest Pro headset that, you know, price we just dropped because the Quest 3 is coming out soon. Or get the Quest 3 for $449 or $499. It's just coming out soon. Like there's not a lot of things like that. And VR has to be better about that a lot. That's just general VR. That's how I feel. Because some of these games just go like under the bus because nobody talks about them. Like they're not hitting on the algorithms, so people aren't gonna make videos about it. And then a lot of people, I'm not gonna say that, but a lot of people in terms of content creation try to push new games, but a person who's not in VR isn't gonna see a video about upcoming Quest games and be like, oh, I should click that and watch it. Now you might get a person that might do that every once in a while, but like a general person, no, they're not gonna do that. Let's be honest. So you have to find out the way to spin that game so that a casual person can see that and be like, oh, I might get a VR headset to play this. But let's move on to our second reason. I think the second reason, and this is a hot take. This is a very hot take, but stay with me. I think personally that VR's attachment to the metaverse is killing it. Now, you're probably wondering, when, you know, Meta has actually built up the VR space a lot, and you're not wrong with saying that. But in my opinion, I feel like the casual person who does not have VR headset, that is a little bit older. Now, I'm not talking about kids, stuff like that. We're talking about like probably like 18 up, maybe 15 up, 18 up probably, 17 up. A lot of people see the VR headsets as this is the metaverse. Like Ready Player One, this is the metaverse. This is where we hop in to live our metaverse lives, right? Which is not the case. There are a section of VR users that, you know, do metaverse stuff. And honestly, even though I've been in VR for a while, I still don't even know what the metaverse actually is supposed to do. And most people don't play VR. But the point is, it doesn't make sense to connect the identity of a VR headset to this idea that most people don't even like because of things like capitalism or things like corporate greed and stuff like that, especially when you have a company with a past like Meta. Now, I know that's probably not good to say, you know, you want sponsorships and, you know, relationships, but let's be honest. Let's be quite honest, Meta does have a history, and, you know, especially when they were Facebook. So let's be real. But attaching the identity of a whole brand of consoles, which are mostly used for, let's be honest, gaming, to this kind of corporate vision of the future kind of hurts it in a way, because most people be like, oh, I don't want my information being stolen XYZ by this company for the metaverse. And they don't even know what the metaverse is. They just know it's, but the metaverse really is like, VR chat could be a metaverse at this point, because there's people who legitimately make money and live in VR chat. Rec Room, there's a Roblox soon after they fix it. It needs some, we're gonna talk about that in the video, but it needs some updates. But these different things kind of have a negative connotation to it. So it pushes a lot of people away, even with more gaming center headsets like the PlayStation. But honestly, PlayStation's thing is more so a lack of marketing. They don't really market a lot of those PlayStation VR games, just being honest. The most marketing I've seen probably were from the launch titles, and that was really just Gran Turismo, RE8, Horizon, and there was a fourth one. There was a fourth one on the list. I can't remember the fourth one. Maybe NFL Pro Era probably was one of the hotter ones on that launch title list. Switchback came out, it flopped. Just got an update to fix that. They didn't even talk about the update though. Firewall, kind of the shooty games, Pavlov kind of got marketed. It's just, come on, man. But let's go on to our third reason. So the third reason that I think VR could be better is a wider variety of VR content on YouTube. Now you're probably wondering, boy, you want to talk? Yes, I am. Because I do personally, I think I do everything in terms of content. I do reviews, I do gameplays, I do product reviews, I do news type videos. I do a little bit of everything. But if you look at bigger VR YouTubers channels, it's up people like kind of like Mully, who do like more hee hee ha ha You know, these are the fun games in VR that are really are great marketing. A lot of people bought VR headsets because of them, because of that group. Now, I forgot the other ones who were in that group. I forgot their names, but that was one of the first pieces of content that I saw for VR, and now people having fun. So if you have a lot of YouTubers who kind of, oh man, I'm gonna hurt feelings this. If you kind of milk those, like, oh, we got Quest 2 got update. How's that bringing in new people? Most people aren't about to watch a video for an update. Now, those videos they do very well. Don't get me wrong. They do very well for the people who do have Quest assets. Don't get me wrong. Them videos eat on the algorithm. But in terms of actually growing VR YouTube out to different things, it doesn't help. So there are things like TikTok that help a lot in terms of bringing in newer people to VR. They'll see games like Battle Talent, Blade and Sorcery. They'll see Contractors. They'll see VR Chat. They'll see Beat Saber. They see all these different games that are VR centric that look pretty fun. That's what I saw when I first started in VR. So I saw Beats, people playing Beat Saber. I saw Thrill Seeker trying out different tech for VR and MR, and pretty much the XR driven, really. And we saw those type of videos. So I think a wider variety of content in terms of appealing to people who don't have VR headsets would be great. Now, that's very hard to do. I'm not gonna lie. It takes a level of thinking that I don't even think I have sometimes. And I'm not even, obviously, a small YouTube channel, but let's be honest. Like, what do we see? Like, games like, you know, top 10 best VR games, stuff like those type of videos help. But it's like, why would a person who doesn't have an interest really in VR watch that, right? Why would they watch a video about a Quest 2 update or upcoming Quest games when there's no best? It wouldn't even be in their algorithm most of the time, let's be honest. But if it's like a video about a game like Megaton Rainfall, where it's like you play as, you know, essentially a superhero, you kind of spin that into a fun thumbnail, kind of not click, kind of, what's it's not the word clickbait. It's like, I guess, but actually market the game as, you know, this is an interesting experience. I think that could help, because a lot of times people are like, oh, I became a god in VR, or I became a soldier in VR, or World War III in VR, or something like that. And those videos do very well because people who don't have VR headsets are like, oh, this looks really cool, let me try it. So I think a wider variety of content on that for VR would be great. And I honestly gotta shout out Genghis VR. She kind of brought this point up. I never really thought about it until I watched kind of like a lot of different people's videos on why VR is dying. And this is kind of the main thing I kind of noticed with a lot of their content. Not saying all of them, but some of them. A wider variety of content would help. Because back a year ago, when VR content was a lot more popular on YouTube, you'll see a lot of the same videos being spammed on the algorithm. Quest 2 update. You know, these are the best games for this month. You know, kind of algorithm milkers, let's be honest. Oh, they paid me to make this video about this game. I made it. Yeah. You know, they will do well. Don't get me wrong, those videos do well. But at the same time, does it actually go to creativity in the space? No, it doesn't. That's why we're here. Because when the content kind of hits a lull between big releases, like, for example, the past 6 months have been crazy. It's been hot releases every month. Like, we had Vertigo come out, all the PSVR2 launch titles. We had some crazy games just come out within the past like 6 months. But when it kind of gets a little cold, especially like this point right now, where there aren't really big releases happening right now, the views kind of taper off, man. You got to get real creative there in those tapers, those lows. And I think a lot of people are kind of meeting that challenge of really like capitalizing on, let's make cooler content. But I think VR could be better. Like I said, variety content on YouTube. Kind of rambled there, but I think you get the point. All right, so that was just a few reasons why I think VR definitely could be a better space. But just a few tweaks. Honestly, just need like a few little tweaks just to kind of get the space really popping. But if you disagree with me, let me know, because it's not, a dictatorship. I'm not exerting my opinion on all people. Like, it's more of a discussion. So we love having discussions. Be civil, be nice in the comments to others. Let me know what you think about the topic. And then check out the YouTube streams. Check out the Twitch streams. Check out. Oh, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification button. Some of y'all don't be coming back. I need y'all to come back. Tired of it. Come back. Come back to the channel, man. It's been your boy MartydudeVR. Peace.